Hey everyone, my name is Patrick, and today I'm going to be reviewing some of the new Systems Manager configuration settings UI changes that we've just pushed out. So for reference, the page that we're looking at here is found in Dashboard under Systems Manager, MDM, Settings. And right off the bat, you'll notice that rather than diving you into a specific profile, as the page used to do, we'll now take you first to this landing page, which lists out all of your profiles. So you can see all of the ones that have been configured within this network. Like many interfaces within Dashboard, this is fully customizable, so you can order on a particular column, drag and reorder the columns, show or hide additional columns as you see fit to really customize this view. And you can also filter either by name, so if I want to look for anything with corporate, or by tag by clicking one of these tags. So if I'm looking for all the profiles that use geofencing compliance, I can click into geofencing compliant, and this will instantly filter down that entire list. If I click into a particular profile, you'll also notice that we have this sort of breadcrumbing feature up at the top left. So rather than having that persistent switcher, that drop-down bar that lets you switch between profiles, you can simply use this top left to navigate between profiles. You can also deep link into a particular payload within the profile by clicking the icon accordingly. So if you dive into the VPN settings, you can quickly jump back to profile configuration or switch back to the profiles list. All right, so looking at this corporate profile, the interface for configuring the profile itself in terms of scoping is pretty much the same. But notice that there is a help icon here up at the top right, which will go over all of these changes that I'm reviewing in this video. And if you also click into the add settings, you'll see that the interface here has been completely overhauled. So rather than having that nested tile view, we've actually flattened out so that all of the payloads that are available are listed in a list here. And it's pretty long, but this is easily filtered if you want to search by name. So if you know you want to look for restrictions, or if you want to filter by a particular OS type. So let's say that I'm looking for specifically Mac OS configurations. So I want to filter for all of the payloads that it supported on Mac OS. And the nice part about this is that you no longer be confused because that Apple icon previously could mean iOS or Mac OS. Now it's very clear whether it's an iOS or Mac OS payload or if it supports both, and if it's an iOS feature that requires supervision. The last major change that I wanted to go over is that specifically with the restrictions payload. So if I search for new and click into the restrictions, we've made a couple changes here so that you can more easily search for restrictions. So if you search for App Store, so actually hide all of the other payloads or all the other sections and filter down to the App Store, which you can also see the text for here. But the main change is that we have actually split out this payload. If you see here, single app mode, global HTTP proxy, and the web content filter have all been moved out into their own separate payloads, which means that they are separate entries found within the profile. And you'll see over here, we can see that single app mode can be configured independently. The web content filter, as well as the proxy settings, can all be configured independently as well. This hopefully simplifies some of the expansiveness that this payload was experiencing and also allows you to configure these without necessarily scrolling through this entire long list of restrictions every single time. Also notice that we have added help icons for specific payloads. So if you click into these, this will take you directly to the relevant documentation article within our knowledge base in case you have any questions or in case you want to read more about what some of the configurations do. So lastly, aside from the interface overhaul, we've added a few new payloads, some of which I'll mention, such as File Vault Recovery Key Escrow for personal recovered keys, as well as the iOS lock screen payload, which allows you to customize the asset tag found on the lock screen of your device. This is fully configurable, so if you wanted to do something like display the device's name and also display the device's serial, you can also input some additional text in between to really customize the message here. And then scope this to the profile scope that to your particular set of devices. So if there's a different schema that you want to apply to different devices, you can customize this payload here. There's a couple other ones like Dock and App Store, which I won't dive into in this video, but check out documentation as we're going to be releasing a comprehensive update of all of the new features on documentation. As a reminder, you can also find a summary of these changes, which will take you back to this document probably containing the video, in case you ever forget, through this help button up at the top right. So we hope you find these changes helpful. You can always submit feedback through the Make-A-Wish feature down at the bottom right, as well as on our community forum. So if you navigate to community.meraki.com, jump to the endpoint management feature, the section, and happy to hear your feedback there.